Welcome to Might in Motion, where we help you navigate your personal and professional goals to manifest them into your deserved career and life path. Here at Might in Motion, we don't make excuses, we do the work and go above and beyond. The Might in Motion podcast brings you guests that will help stretch you out of your comfort zone and push you to improve your goals. Like, comment, and share. This is Might in Motion.
Today, I have with me Sarah Foley, Vertical Blonde. And what you may not know, she's got a really, interesting story to tell. She has been able to take situations in her life that may have stopped other people, and she has pivoted that and been able to take that and turn it into such an empowering movement for people all over the world. She's been featured on multiple podcasts, including Tony Robinson. I'm so excited to have her here because she is, and I was going to say this before we even talk, she isn't a fashion icon in my mind. I see her, I follow her on Instagram. Sarah, I am so excited to have you here, that we can chat again in person. It's been a really long time since we've been able to see each other face to face. Welcome to Might in Motion.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that warm welcome. I love that I'm a fashion icon in your eyes. I'm all about the fashion. I'm all about showing up and redefining things. So thank you.
Yeah, and I said I mean it because like I said, I follow you on Instagram. I look at your posts daily. I'm, kind of stalkerish. But I'm like, what is she wearing today? Or I wish I could pull off that color. Or whatever.
You can. Look at you. You're
for me,
so
this is my icon. Like mine is the hair. I'm not a bombshell blonde like you, but I am just owning my curls.
You are so amazing.
That's my icon.
Okay, hold the phone. You got to give yourself a little bit more credit because that hair is gold, baby.
I know, right?
Come on,
I finally owned it. If my mom's watching, she'd be so proud of me.
Oh, it's amazing. And you can totally pull off the color. It's funny. It reminds me, one day I was, walking my dog or whatever outside, and at my condo complex, this girl stopped me. She's got her little 3-year-old boy, and she said, "You're always done up." She said, "Every time I see you, you're done up." And I said, "Yeah, that's actually one of my core values of life is that I get up every single day, regardless what my plans are, and I get ready. Yeah. And I am ready." When in that process of getting ready and what I'm saying to myself in the mirror and prepping myself for how I'm going to show up in the day, I get ready every day. And then I'm more apt to create opportunities or take opportunities. They come at you. And so I was telling her this, and she kind of just got defeated, and she started to tear up, and she's like, "I know, but," she's like, "I've got, the new little boy, and I'm, just feel worn down, and I feel run down." And I said, "If you took a few more minutes in the morning to pour into yourself, to get ready and create something new, how would that feel?"
Right.
And she left kind of bouncing away. And then the next time I saw her, she was done up. She was ready. She just was her energy changed.
Yeah.
And it's not about hair or makeup or fashion. It's about you stepping into, I call it being an icon, right? Your iconic identity, how you want to show up in the world.
So I didn't mention this at the start, and I should have, but if you are tuning in live on LinkedIn, you can ask questions, comments, etc. I already see one out there from Elena. So glad that you're on with us. It is going to be fire. It always is. But there are some of you out there that are probably like, "Sarah, who's she? What are we talking about, this event or transformation that happened to her?" So can you maybe give the audience a very quick blurb on kind of what triggered your transformation?
Yeah. So 10 years ago, life was really, really good for me. I had my dream job running a spa in Park City. I was super in love with this new boyfriend. Things were just going really well, making more money than I'd ever made. And I went out on 4-wheelers with that boyfriend and another couple. And while we were out, there was an incident where I went off the trail and I hit a ditch. And I started flipping through the air and instant paralysis. I was flipped a few times and then thrown against a fallen tree. And immediately I couldn't feel anything below my waist.
Yeah.
I thought I was more in shock. I had snapped my clavicle. So that's like the pain that was really, I could feel, but they were pinching my toes and there was nothing.
Mm.
And so, I went through, hospital journeys and rehab journeys and all of that, so forth. But the one journey that like I didn't take until about 4 years after the accident was the emotional journey.
Yeah.
And, it was like you pour so much into getting yourself physically okay. But there's just no focus. Like the doctors aren't focused on it. They're just focused on physical. And when I finally started diving into the emotional trauma of what had happened, it sort of cracked open this like insane self-discovery, like beyond the accident. It was like who I was and who I was becoming. And I began to realize that everything in our life happens for us. Like it is there for us. It is for our growth. It is for our expansion. And it's actually there to give us opportunities for our dreams. Like it really, but it's not going to be packaged the way that we want it to be.
Yeah.
It's never going to look the way we want it to. And so there's sort of this balance that I discovered, not even balance, but like this line that I began to play on where it's like half creating, half surrendering, right?
Yeah.
Like half of it is like, go after it, make it happen. And the other is like, I just am going to allow whatever is supposed to be happening right now and trust in that as well. So there's this trust and create at the same time, which is really hard, right? That line can be really, really delicate and difficult. But when we accept our circumstances as just that, and then we get to define the meaning,
that's amazing. What's so interesting to me, and I'm not sure why I didn't make this connection before. Like I said, we've met a few times before. I had an associate on my team in the past, and he was in a wheelchair as well. He had an accident that left him paralyzed, and he has the same kind of energy as you. Like he has just taken this whole like situation that could have been, especially being injured as a young man, like, well, my career is going to end, or this is going to end, or whatever. And instead, he is probably the longest tenured associate I know, and is one of those people that just like everybody's drawn to him because that energy he exudes is like the wheels. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
And I know you talk a lot about, inclusion and, I think that's really important. It's important as someone who's had associates that have worked for her. I've other friends, who also have similar, have wheelchairs that they have to use and et cetera. And you have a different viewpoint in life when you have different people around you that have different experiences. And I love that you have this energy that just resonates with everyone.
Well, it's interesting because life goes to crap, right? Like a circumstance happens and it's like flips you upside down. Okay. Yeah. People go one of two ways, right? They go into like, my life is over. This sucks. How could it happen? It's depression. It's the victim, right? And then there's the other side where it's like, dude, like second chance, baby. Like, let's go. And what I became obsessed with was what makes that pivot in people. Why does one go this way and the other one go the other way? That was such a head trip for me, to the point that I became a coach and I did all this training. And I'm actually trained under Tony Robbins now as a breakthrough strategist, which I'm so proud of, and helping people to reach those breakthroughs of like, what do you want to do with your circumstance? And back to the inclusion, I think that everyone wants to be seen for who they are and not the circumstances they're in. Yes. Right? Like everyone at the end of the day, they're like, see me, right? Don't see like my circumstances. Don't judge me for where I've come from or what I've done. Like judge me for who I am,
Right.
or appreciate or accept me for who I am. I guess judge is kind of a strong word. People can take it one of two ways, but we're constantly making those judgments, right?
Yeah.
Judgments about situations, people, and so forth. So, yeah, it lights me up and it gets me excited thinking about why people go one way versus the other. And it's pretty fascinating. And it's even more fascinating when you can get someone to change directions.
Yes. Yes. And, like I do a lot with the veterans community as well. My husband is a veteran, and he's a wounded warrior, Purple Heart, all that kind of stuff. And so there's people that come into our life that, went through pretty big trauma, right? And you see some go to the really dark alcohol, drugs, trying to numb everything. And then you have the complete opposite. And I've, to your point, when you see somebody make that pivot, it's so amazing because, like there was a reason, right? There was a purpose to, when you say everything happens to us for a reason, you may not know what that reason is now. And that reason might not be in your current lifetime. You may be creating a ripple that impacts your son's, generation, or, my daughter's generation. You don't even know how what you're doing now is going to impact somebody else. And I think that's what's so cool about the way you approach things, is I don't think you even realize how many other people you're impacting because there's that positive force that's happening.
I love that you say that. It's interesting because my therapist had said that to me once, and she did it in this way. She says, when we back up enough, like not in time, but like in space over our life, we see that it's like this perfectly choreographed dance. And to your point, like that dance continues beyond our years, both before and after. And so I love that concept. And then, so I spent 5 years living in Maui, and I incorporate a lot of the Hawaiian traditions in ways. They have just a beautiful reverence for life itself.
Yes.
And I love that. And they've got something called, they call it your kuleana. And your kuleana is your responsibility to live at your fullest potential. Because when I do, it means you can. Yes. When you can, I can. Right? And so like whatever you are out there to bring in this world, when you are at your fullest potential, there are people that need that fullest potential in order to reach theirs. And that, like, oh my gosh, like I get goosebumps. I'm so excited. Yeah. And then we think of it as a responsibility to ourselves, to each other, to the world, like then it becomes so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
In a way, not to scare us, but like in a way of like, ooh, let's go.
Yes. Yeah. And, you kind of started at the beginning where you talked about how, when you get up, you purposely you're putting on the clothes of the success of what you want to bring, right? And it's also what you want to give. You're giving that best self to others by presenting yourself that way, right? That's like, I know you talk a lot about unleashing the icon within, and in my mind, I'm envisioning that like icon is like, you're unleashing it on the world. It's like this tiger that's going out in the world, and you're going to like, just like, when you're able to do that, then other people get empowered. So can you talk a little bit more about that whole icon within and holding your vision? It
totally happened by accident.
Okay.
It happened by accident. And so what happened was, when I was living in Hawaii, I wanted to start just a little blog to keep my friends and family, like, this is what we did today in Maui. And at that point, the only kind of thing I knew around personal development or any of this was that my words had power. Yes. And when I first moved there, I was so convinced that like Maui and the energy was like going to heal my legs somehow. And so I said, okay, I got to start calling myself something that is going to evoke me standing and walking. And I came up with Vertical Blonde. It came out, I was like, oh, that's catchy. It's kind of sexy. It did it. I love the word vertical. Like, it just felt really good. And as I carried on and created this blog and created my Instagram around it, I was like, it kind of became me at my fullest potential. Like when I called myself Vertical Blonde, I noticed I showed up differently. When I called myself Vertical Blonde, I noticed I looked at life differently. My headspace changed. That's when I started to realize everything was happening for me. Like
Yeah.
Sarah can still get really scared. She can still self-sabotage. She can do all the things, right? Like she plays small. She doesn't want to be big people and feel uncomfortable. All those things that I deal with. But when I step into Vertical Blonde,
Yep.
I've created her. She is me at my fullest potential.
Yeah.
She is me without fear. She is me
Yes.
without self-sabotage. She is me saying, let's go. Like we got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And so over the course of, I just took I took 13 women through 8 weeks where they literally created and cultivated and embodied their iconic identity. They created that. They are stepping into that now. And so, taking kind of my trainings and coachings and putting it all together, it's really cool when you start to watch someone and they've purposefully created who they want to become.
Yes.
Right? Like it is stepping into that, and it's going to feel uncomfortable because a lot of it is outside of anything we've done. So it's beyond our current comfortability. But when we put on sort of the iconic identity, it's now a different version of ourselves that we can tap into and put all the pressure on instead of ourselves. And it's just fascinating what happens when people they become them. It's this.
I love that. I love that. Elena in the comments said, identifying whether or not it's Superman versus Clark Kent.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but what's even more fun is that when they get to this point where the line blurs of where Sarah stops and where Vertical Blonde begins.
Yes.
Where it's so much a part of me that it's no longer, I have to feel like I'm putting something different on.
Yes.
It's like the line is blurred.
Yeah.
She is me. I am her.
So is that, you mentioned you just wrapped up with 8 women, are you doing that same thing again?
Like I am. So that one I'll be doing, twice a year. So the next one will open up in January. But I just opened up the Icon Collective where you can get access to the recordings of those courses instead of doing it live, but you can do it on your own time. But it is a full group coaching and community all around this iconic identity. My goal with this is truly to have a community of leaders, of people that are actually stepping into their Kuleana. They know they've got work to do. They've got purpose to do on themselves, on others, on the world. Like they know that there's something itching in their heart. So regardless where they are in their journey, I see it as icons helping icons, right? So that we're all stepping into that Kuleana. And then that ripple effect gets so much bigger.
That's so cool. I did a lot of theater growing up. So when you talk about like assuming that personality, right, or putting on that costume, it really resonated with me because there were some, you have some roles where you're just like, oh my God, I'm going to be that powerful, that strong woman who always knows the answer and can always get everything right, and it's really an interesting thought process, right? Especially when you work from home, right? Like right now, super easy. I could be business on top, party on the bottom, right? It's like the mullet of work, right? You can wear I don't have sweatpants on today. I do have real pants on and shoes, but like it's easier now, I think, for people to kind of hide behind this comfort. And you're putting on the comfy clothes. You're not when you're putting on, that's all you're doing. Then all you're setting yourself up for is the comfort. You're not setting yourself up for that next level, for that. And that could be on a personal space, right? Or you're trying to hit fitness goals, health goals, relationship goals, or it could be on the professional space where you might be saying, hey, I really want to move to a manager role or higher. It all bleeds together.
It bleeds together. And my philosophy is if my phone rang right now with the biggest opportunity of my life and they said you need to be outside your front door because we're picking you up, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like that's it for me. And by doing that, obviously that's a slim to none that's going to happen. They're going to be waiting at my door, but you never know.
I don't know. Like, I mean,
like,
mine's in
the
live. You weren't going to be going. And next thing you know, you were there.
know.
So you know.
But like if I go to the Starbucks line, the amount of like conversations and opportunities I've made in the Starbucks line, I have lost count. But it's just, you're ready and people are like, it starts conversation almost like, where are you going? You look great. It's like, I'm ready for life. Where are you headed?
Yes.
So,
oh, I love it. I love it. And I think that really helps people kind of overcome those the self-doubt in the back of their mind or issues with confidence they may have had growing up, right? Like it sounds like what you've done, even with, the women that were in your course and those, that face-to-face kind of coaching, you've helped them overcome a lot of things. Are there any tricks that you would love to like share? Maybe like one tip for the group?
Well, going back to your words have power. Mm-hmm. So on my mirror in my bathroom where I'm getting ready, I'm also having conversations with myself. And I have 3 Post-its that have been on there forever. I've had to re-put them up when they get wet and so forth. But I see them every single day. And the first is that my energy is my currency. I am transacting with the world through my energy. And I'm reminding myself constantly that my energy and what I put out is what I'm going to attract. I want high vibing, positivity, like good-natured people. That is the energy that I got to put out in the world. Mm-hmm. And then self-discipline is the greatest form of self-love. If I can be disciplined to actually follow through on my word, that is the greatest thing I can do for myself. And then the last is that I am free. I am free to actually go for my dreams. I am free to think big. I am free to go for it. I am free to have an opinion. I am free to dress the way I want to dress. I am free to do it all. And like, just those, like, even did you see how lit up I got talking about each one?
Right.
Like, they evoke something in me. And so find something that evokes something in you that you are going to live as like your core values, and look at them and read them out loud. Say them to yourself every single day. It may sound trite and silly, but it works. Like it works when you get the feelings in your body.
Yeah, because you're changing it at a cellular level. It becomes so ingrained with you. And then like every cell is drawing that towards you. Joshua made a comment. He said, universe happens fast. Be ready for your dreams.
Hell yeah, Joshua.
Right? Like it operates faster because you're continuing to ingrain that philosophy, even just by visually seeing it every day.
Totally.
Right? You're ingraining it so that it there's no more room left in you, right? For that self-doubt, for that feeling of lack. And those moments come, right? Like we all have them. Totally. We all have good days, bad days, right? But you end up with the more good days, or maybe it's the same amount, but you recognize the good days more and you ignore the bad days more. I don't know.
I say there's no bad days. There's just hard moments.
Nice.
Like not every day is totally bad. And if you see it as totally bad, you got a problem, right? Like where's all the good in the day? So no bad days, just hard moments. That's my philosophy on that one. And then, I was going to say something else. No, I can't remember what that one was. I lost it. It'll come back to me. But I do love the word confidence. You had brought up confidence. Mm-hmm. And that one, I feel like I've sort of mastered the coaching in it, because when you break down the actual word, it means to trust in. And so confidence is it's a tricky one, because it's like a chicken or the egg type of thing, right? Do you trust yourself first to take the action that builds the confidence? Or do you take the action in order to build the trust that builds the confidence? So, that's what I was going to say. This actually leads into it, that everything has momentum. So that trust is going to have momentum and the confidence will have momentum. But so does low energy. So does distrust. Mm-hmm. So does negativity. Mm-hmm. So does seeing a day as fully bad versus, good with hard moments. They both have momentum.
Yeah.
So if you want to build that momentum and build that that trust within yourself, it's going to start by taking those little actions. I think it comes with the action first, and kind of think last, when you can just tune into yourself, trust yourself that this is the action to take. That's why I remind myself I'm free to take those actions and for them to be mistakes, whatever they are.
Yeah.
But you take those steps and you build up that trust and that momentum in that direction.
That's awesome. And mistakes really, they're opportunities.
Totally.
Right. So I've led a lot of corporate teams, and I want my teams to make mistakes, because that means they're taking risks. And if they're taking risks, they can have really big wins. Right. If you're not taking any risks, we're just doing the same damn thing over and over again, and that's pointless.
Totally.
So what is, I know, like, we're kind of coming in on time. And so some of the best ways for people to reach you, what's kind of one of those best avenues?
I love hearing from you on Instagram. That's a great way, because then I can see who you are back and forth. But you can also visit, I've got some YouTube up there. I've got Facebook, but my website is verticalblonde.com. You can read the whole story. There's lots of amazing blogs. There's even a section of all my favorite things that help me live a iconic life, beauty and things like that. And then also that's where you can find out more about the Icon Collective, any of the courses that I've got coming up, the coaching, and so forth. So
fantastic. Yeah. I love it. It's a great, I've been to your website too, not just because of this. Secret stalker. I'm like, what is she into?
I love it.
I wanted to know your whole story, because I've heard bits and pieces, and I just highly recommend go check her out. All the different avenues out there. Obviously, she's on LinkedIn because she's joining me here in this really big platform. And so thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. Just a reminder, take action. Don't just take what we talked about and not do anything with it. Take a nugget, go take action with it, go put on a new shade of lipstick, do whatever you need to do. But the best way to do it is to follow on Instagram, because I will tell you, Sarah posts religiously. She is always out there and always has something really phenomenal to say. So you can take these nuggets that you learned today and you can get more along the way. So once again, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Vertical Blonde, you are amazing. And I can't wait to see you online and see what else you have coming your way. Thanks, everyone who joined us. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into Might in Motion. If you learned something about motivation, momentum, mindfulness, or might, please like, comment, and share. Thank you.